New at noon, U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is in Houston praising local law enforcement for their efforts to stop violent crime. But our David Gonzalez explains why a federal judge is criticizing Sessions and the Trump administration for their deportation policies.
The mother and child in that case ordered back to the U.S. by that judge. Sessions did not address or talk about the judge's threat. His focus, the ongoing fight to end violent crimes in this community and across the country. Sessions says crime does not know borders, so it's crucial federal, state, and local agencies work together to keep communities safe. Under President Trump's orders, he's tasked with enhancing the safety of law enforcement officers, reducing crime, and dismantling criminal organizations like MS-13. Sessions says ending illegal immigration and the crimes associated with it is his top priority. He wants to end federal funding to sanctuary cities who he says undermine the safety of law enforcement officers.
Most people don't murder. Most people don't rape. They don't deal crack and cocaine and fentanyl in our neighborhoods. And so if we target smartly, we can make a big difference.
Say it loud, say it clear. Sessions is not welcome here.
Outside, about a dozen people protested Sessions' visit. They are against the Trump administration's current immigration policies. Right now, the ACLU is suing Sessions and other Trump officials for the policies they say that make it harder for illegal immigrants claiming domestic violence or gang violence to seek asylum. Reporting in Houston, David Gonzalez, KHOU 11 News.